Good day, everyone. I am Jonas Bertolome, and I am here to present to you our first lesson in GNED06 STS. Our topic is Science, Technology, and the World. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand the concepts of science, technology, society, and how they are interconnected with each other. Next one, we will understand how science and technology has changed over the past centuries. We will also describe the roles of different society in the development of science across ages. We will enumerate the several technological advancements from ancient age up to date. We will also discuss how scientific and technological developments affect society as well as the environment. And lastly, we will explain the importance of social media sites to modern day living. If you're ready, please prepare your module and let's start. As you will observe in your module, there are blank spaces. Therefore, you are challenged to fill it up in order for you to obtain the necessary information about our topic. Okay, so let's start. First, we will understand the concepts of science, technology, and society. If you have any idea about our lesson, you may comment down below. First, what is science? So, science tries to discover facts and evidences to create theories based on scientific knowledge. Therefore, science is a knowledge or a system of knowledge covering general truths through scientific method. So, ang science is nakukuha through experimentation and in the form of scientific method. Okay? And it is a challenge for us humans. Because of our curiosity, we attempt to understand the natural world and its phenomena. Science designs a product, processes, as well as medical treatment. It predicts the impact of human actions, and with that, develops a technology. So, science is based on concepts, facts, principles, and phenomena which are or which feeds our curiosity or which adds up to a system of knowledge. Technology is the practical application of scientific knowledge, in particular to a specific field of science. So, with technology, products and processes are created by researchers to meet our needs and wants. So what are the several kinds of technologies that addresses our human needs and wants? So we have eight and more, madami pa yan. So number one is information technology in the form of TV, satellites, GPS, internet, communication technology in the form of magazines, TVs, biorelated and agricultural technology in the form of biosensors, genetic engineering, biotechnology. Next is medical technology in the form of lasers, ultrasound, robotic checkup, electronic aspirin, and etc. Environmental technology, transportation technology, production technology, energy and power technology, and last is nanotechnology. So those are the several kinds of technologies that addresses human needs and wants. Therefore, technology is an application of science in order for us to satisfy the needs and wants. So in comparison, science is the study of the natural world itself. It deals with the different processes of how a human body operates in the facts about photosynthesis, the different stars about the above the planets. So that's it. And then it deals with what is. Well, technology is the study of human-made world, and it deals with what can be. It is also reciprocal in the sense that science addresses questions that demands more sophisticated instruments, which is technology, and technology provides instruments that enable the observation of object. For example, through the creation of anemometer, we can now understand the wind direction or the wind movement, which is technology related to science. So that is the relationship between the two. And then, how does science and technology affect society? So, science influences society through its knowledge and worldview. For example, because of a science, for example, mathematics, it affects the way we think or the way of our living. Because of math, we are using money to transact and buy products and services. And also, for example, a certain kind of science, nutrition. So because of nutrition, we humans are affected by what we should eat or what we should uh, do in order for our body to be healthy. So the society it affects the society and also the environment. And then, while technology influences society through its products and processes. Okay? And then, syempre, let's understand what is society. Society is a cooperating social group whose members have organized patterns of relationship through interaction with one another. For example, society of medical technologies, society of teachers, society of persons living in remote places, society of people living in an urban area. So that is a society or society of people living in the Philippines. So they have common traditions, institutions, and collective activities and interests. So question, what is the interrelationship of science, technology, and society? Comment down below. Okay, so now let's proceed to the advancement of how the science and technology changed over the past century. And we'll start with the ancient age, the three age system. Okay, the three age system was introduced in the early 19th century by Christian Jurgensen Thomsen, an archaeologist and a curator of the National Museum of Denmark in Copenhagen. This system was originally formulated to classify artifacts in the possession of museum, but this gave birth to three chronologically successive prehistorical periods, namely Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age, whose dating is very approximate. So we will understand these three specifically. Let's start with the Stone Age. Stone Age, as defined by Thomson, is a period of weapons made of stones, wood, bones, or some other materials aside from metals. It was further subdivided by John Lubbock into Paleolithic and Neolithic periods. And then, in 1883, de Mortillet then suggested that the many deposits. Late Paleolithic to early Neolithic period was later on termed as Mesolithic period by John Allen Brown. These Stone Age periods are based mainly on technological advancement and not on actual date ranges, thus their lengths varied in different parts of the world. Let's understand the Paleolithic or the stone or the Old Stone period. The Paleolithic period is known to be the longest phase of human history, which began approximately 2 million years ago and ended between 40,000 to 10,000 years ago. It was during this period when humans were suggested to evolve from an ape-like creature to a true Homo sapiens. They were hunter-gatherers who used to build wild animals and harvest wild animals for survival. These were achieved by using stones, flints, bones, and even antlers, which gradually developed from a single all-purpose artifact to a collection of different, highly specialized tools, to each serving a specific functions. So commonly, the people in the Paleolithic period are nomadic. They are migrating between temporary settlements, and their tools made of stones, flints, and bones are being sharpened in order for them to gather easily wild animals. And this period of early human development was further given into three successive divisions, namely the lower, middle, and the upper Paleolithic period, with each representing a distinguishable cultural features. So in the lower Paleolithic period, so you may read the content, it is the mark in the age of human evolution in the development of simple tools like stone choppers made by those peoples called Australopithecus. Okay? And those old stone tools are made by Homo erectus. So Homo erectus, from the word erect, those are the old people who can now stand on their own. Okay? And then in the Middle Paleolithic period, there is a cultural development involving another early human ancestor, the Neanderthal man, who existed 40,000 to 100,000 years ago. So these Neanderthal man are cavemen known to use fire, stone tools of lake types for hunting, and bone implements such as needles for sewing body coverings made of animal furs and skins. And in the Upper Paleolithic period, there is a variety of culture of Homo sapien group. Examples are the Cro-Magnon man, Grimaldi man, which dominated in this period. This period was known for communal hunting, extensive fishing, supernatural beliefs, cloth sewing, sculpture, painting, and making personal ornaments out of bones and ivories. Okay, so those are the period under the Paleolithic period. Next one is the Mesolithic or the Middle Stone period, occurring between the end of Paleolithic and the beginning of Neolithic. The Mesolithic period involves the gradual change in the way humans live that could be attributed to the retreat of glaciers and the growth of forests and deserts in different parts of the world. So in this, people began fishing along rivers and lake shores, make pottery, and use bow. There are also gradual transition from food gathering into agriculture or food processing. Okay. Further, they also use stones known as microliths. These microliths were comparatively smaller and more delicate than those of the paleoliths. Okay. And next is the Neolithic or the New Stone period. This stage of cultural development was based primarily on agriculture. It is characterized by wide domestication of plants and animals, use of stone tools and pottery, and weaving in numerous settled villages. Okay? Agriculture continued to expand across most of the inhabited regions of the world, giving rise to a variety of urban civilizations. Okay? So those are the basic or the three major period in the Stone Age. Next one is the Bronze Age. Bronze Age started when tools and weapons were already widely made with copper and bronze. This was achieved through metal extraction from ore, which is a process known as smelting. And melting, pouring it into a mold for shaping. So nagkaroon na sila ng concept of smelting and shaping it to a specific shape that they desired. Okay? And smelting was originally done with copper, which is a soft metal. However, it was discovered by Sumerians of Mesopotamia that a harder and stronger one could be made by blending copper and tin. Okay, so the technological knowledge then slowly moved from place to place. It began from Southeast Asia and radiated to the different parts of the world. Okay, so that is the 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 Bronze Age. So nag-start na po yung tinatawag na smelting. And last in the three-age system is the Iron Age. So Iron Age, as the name implies, included those articles made of iron. This began when smelting pits made sufficient advancement to produce higher temperature that could smelt iron ore. Same with bronze technology, Iron Age also diffused different regions slowly to North America and then sub-Saharan Africa when the fusion of bronze technology was halted by the Sahara Desert. So those are the prehistoric periods under the three-age system: the Iron Age, Bronze Age, and the Stone Age. Basically, uh, refers what kind of materials or what kind of tools they made. Next one in the advancement of technology is the Middle Ages. So Middle Ages, this period in history began 450 after death and lasted until 1450. It is subdivided into smaller ages, which is the Dark and High Middle Ages. Okay? So it started during the collapse of the Western Roman Empire and the rise of Renaissance and Age of Discovery. Okay, so the first one is the dark Ages. In Dark Ages, there is no scientific accomplishment that has been made. And between 1347 and 1350, there was a bubonic plague called Black Death that killed some 20 million people in Europe. So this was the very dark ages of the Europe people in the Middle Ages. And next is the High Middle Ages, wherein the most powerful institution here is the Catholic Church. And then Islamic world was also growing larger and more powerful, which was more than 3 times bigger than Christendom. So it focuses on Europe, but let us also understand the Middle Ages during uh, in several places like China and India. So for example, in China, their agriculture and economy was based solely in farming, which began in Huanghe and Yangtze River. There is a large silk production started and bronze production become more sophisticated. And then in their science, they have this kind of concept like convex and concave mirrors, calendars, decimal places. And in medical biology, they started to uh, begin acupuncture as an effective cure to most body illnesses. Okay, in terms of Chinese technology, the following were some of the major Chinese technological advancement. We have the paper, seismograph, then mechanical clock, wheelbarrow, gunpowder, printing press, and magnetic compass, and etc. So those were the different technological advancement of Chinese during the Middle Ages. Okay, and then next one is Europe. Okay, in Europe, feudal system was fully developed in Europe and had defined its economic history. It depended on local agricultural and handicraft production and was characterized by having the following hierarchical ranks in the society. We have the peasant, lord, lay or clerical, overlords, king and bishops, pope and emperor. And in Europe, the church provided the intellectual and administrative expression of the feudal system. The center of excellence and the center of intellect is the church. Therefore, kapag ikaw ay nagkaroon ng ah, opposition sa mga gustong ituro ng church, you may be excommunicated. Okay? And in education, meron tayong cathedral school which then became universities. These were established to address the societal need for intellectual advancement. And some of the universities arose in the following European eras. This is the Paris University. Next one is the Oxford University, the Cambridge University, and many other universities like Padua, St. Andrew, Naples, Salamanca, Prague, and Vienna. Well, in their technology, the major discoveries and inventions in Europe are the horse collars, clock watch, which were developed from Chinese clock, magnetic compass, water mill, windmill, gunpowder, cannon, and etc. Mostly, these are developed because of the influence of Chinese people. And in India, their major technology is that their year was divided into 12 months with a total of 360 days. And also they gathered information on disease and drugs, and also they practiced mathematical equations, linear equation, and the use of zero and decimal places were practiced. Okay? So those are the major events happening in the Middle Ages, divided into Dark Ages and High Middle Ages. And these are the major technological advancements in some places. Okay, next one is the Pre-Columbian America. Let's proceed to the Pre-Columbian America. The Pre-Columbian America was thrived in by three groups of people called Mayan, the ancient natives of Central America, the Aztec, the pre-Columbian Indians of Mexico, and the Incas, which are the pre-Columbian of Peru rather. So let's proceed with the Mayan. Their technological advancement in terms of infrastructure was the pyramid made of limestones that were built by Mayans. And then their houses were made of poles and leaves of palms. And then in their economy, they use cocoa beans as monetary units. Kumbaga parang pag makakabili ka lang ng isang manok kapag meron kang 100 cocoa beans. Okay? In their astronomy naman, develop solar calendar, which consists of 365 days in a year. Okay? So in the Mayan era. And then in the Aztec or pre-Columbian Indians of Mexico, their infrastructures is that their high temples were built for their gods and goddesses. And then decimal notations were used, which zero was similarly represented by an oval shape and other numbers as dots and dashes. And then they also developed social calendar or solar calendar, which was developed with a total of 18 months. And in Incas, as you can see in the picture, their farming was practiced in terraced field with canals for irrigation. Chili and avocado were widely cultivated, and clothes from llama and alpaca were made. So those are the major technological advancement in the pre-Columbian America. Now let's proceed with the scientific revolution. So scientific revolution refers to the great scientific intellectual achievements that led to radical changes in scientific queries. Some of the important contributions to these scientific revolutions are the following. Number one is the universe model by Nicholas Copernicus that describes that the sun is the center of the universe. The law of planetary motion by Johannes Kepler that all planets revolve around the sun is elliptical and not circular orbits. The work of motion by Galileo Galilei, the law of motion by Isaac Newton, which consists of the law of inertia, acceleration, and law of interaction. And last is the universal gravitation to Isaac Newton then, states that a particle in the universe attracts every other universal particle using a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses. That is the major contributions or major scientific knowledge in the scientific revolution, which led to the radical change in the society. Okay? Because of those things, alam nyo ba, yung kay Nicholas Copernicus na that the sun is the center of the universe, it is opposed by the church because ang turo daw ng church is a geocentric model. So therefore, maaring to si Copernicus is na-excommunicated because of the opposition of the knowledge from the church. Okay? So yun po. Nagkaroon talaga ng changes sa society. And next one, after scientific revolution is the industrial revolution, which generally covers the complex technological innovations that led to the substitution of machines and animals, machine and inanimate power for human skills and human and animal forces respectively. So some are those remarkable technological advancements. So in textile, coal, iron, and steel, transportation, communication, lighting, and agriculture. So these are the following inventions under the textile during Industrial Revolution. So meron tayo dito, fly shuttle, which is a spinning machine for increased weaving speed. Meron din tayong water frame. So ito is a textile production ng power loom and cotton gin, which separates cotton from seeds. In terms naman of coal, iron, and steel, meron silang ginagamit na coke. Yung Coke na yun, di yun yung iniinom, kundi um, they use Coke for iron smelting. And then blast furnace for cheaper and faster smelting of iron, puddling furnace, and then open heart process for finer steel. In terms of transportation during the Industrial Revolution, they are mile-long canals, steamboat, macadam roads, beef puffing billy, and steam locomotive as well as steam ships. So as you can observe, talagang naapektuhan din ng society because of the Industrial Revolution in terms of the environment, because of the smoke, it affects the ozone layer of the earth. In terms naman of communication, inventions like electric telegraph, telephone, radio was invented. Lighting, gas lighting, Bunsen burner. Agriculture, seed drills, marling practice, and stock breeding. Next one is 18th to 19th century. During this era, the connection between science and technology was very minimal. This gradually shifted to developmental stage during the 19th century when science, technology, and industry united at a common ground and cause. These are the similar scientific advances during this period, which are summarized in your module. So, included sa module nyo yung iba't ibang scientist or discoverer and their contribution. So, mention ko na lang din si Alessandro Volta, which contributed in the invention of cell and battery. In the chemistry, Benjamin Franklin distinguished negative and positive charge in an atom. In biology, Robert Hooke discovered the cell. Okay? Next is Charles Darwin is his theory of evolution. Next is the 20th century up to date. During the 20th century, science and technology had structurally and methodologically changed. A number of scientific theories were introduced and had influenced technological works in the century. You may also refer to your module in the following significant advances in scientific knowledge during the 20th century. Okay, for example, Albert Einstein is his theory of relativity. Next one, in field of biology, um, James Watson and Francis Crick discovered the structure of the DNA. And then Edwin Hubble is the idea of the presentation of universe. Next one is George Lemaitre is the proposed the Big Bang theory. Okay. Next one is the information stage, and this is the last stage or period in the human history. This is typically described by the change from traditional industry to an economy based on information computerization, which is also known as the digital age or the new media age. It is occupied with the birth of personal computers. It is also the era with easy access on easy piece of information. Before the rise of computers, information was being spread using printout materials. And then Johannes Gutenberg, a blacksmith and publisher, introduced movable type printing press in Europe. And this established what we call the Gutenberg era, which is responsible for shaping the nature of society and its underlying institutions. But before that, there is a pre-Gutenberg work. Before the printing press, books were written and produced by hand. They were made in surfaces of clay, wax, papyrus, and parchments. Okay? Books are restricted only to people who can afford, known as the elite groups. And information was only relayed through a word of mouth channels. And then in the Gutenberg evolution, it begins with the introduction of printing, especially the movable printing press by Johannes Gutenberg. And Gutenberg principle existed in such a way that information could be passed to every individual, but the access was very expensive. And then books were printed using presses in the beginning of the Gutenberg era were called incunabula, which means cradle of birthplace. And in the post-Gutenberg world, This era can be described as the emergence of the internet and the World Wide Web. So ito na yung parang age na kung saan tayo ay nabubuhay. This paved way to the possible uploading and downloading of all forms of media instruments such as videos, audios, and images that enable people to publish or spread the information. And this started the rise of digital age. With the advent of modern technologies, printing press are not only tools used in spreading information. Computers, cell phones, computer printers, digital cameras are now readily available to pass information from one individual to another, from here to every faraway places. And then, syempre, there are several social media sites that was also introduced with us. And ngayon talagang the general or the mostly used medium in sharing information. We have Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Google. Their discovery and use became very significant part of the economy. It gave a great impact in the workforce of many different ways, 'di ba? The social media platforms mentioned above are most commonly used platforms, but there are still other social media. So from Gutenberg to information age, the evolution of technology has made us realize that modernization of information and communication process have become the power behind social evolution. So that is our topic for today, um, the science technology in the world. So when you reach the video in this point, please comment down your name if you have the access on YouTube. Uh, yun. So that's it for today. So please refer to your module for more information. Thank you so much and have a good day. God bless us all.